Hello everyone, Treecks here, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. Last time we learned the final power for our Rod of Seasons. We are now able to actually turn any place in the overworld into any season. Nothing is going to be hidden for us anymore. And this is something we are indeed going to need if we want to reach the next dungeon in this game. At the end of the previous episode I took care of most of the side quests we actually can do. So we should be up to speed. What is not up to speed is the growing of my gacha trees. This one is not done yet. But we are here in order to make our way towards Eyeglass Lake. Let's see if we're able to find something that we were not able to do beforehand. Of course, we're going to be using this tree stump in order to change it into the most recent season that we have learned. Spring. Oh. Don't want to jump off, of course. Summer and autumn. First, let's go pick up the treasure chest that is now available to us. Oh, correction. First, let's bump into Maple again. And boom. No, I don't see any rings, so you're once again not interesting, Maple. Oh, there's also one over there. Did not see the second one. Okay, in that case, let's return to our regular gameplay. Good luck with your cat, sir. Also clearly part of the trade quest, but we're not able to actually help him quite yet. But we are able to help ourselves. Now that the season is autumn, we are actually able to get this chest. Oh, only during autumn we're actually able to cross this part. Gaps are going to be filled with leaves, and that will actually give us a gacha seed. I'm having the feeling I'm getting more seeds than I actually meet up with soil spots. Too bad. I also don't want to go out of my way constantly just to find some soft soil spots. That is my bad, I know. But anyway, we'll meet up with a couple of them later on. Don't worry. Now, we're going to be swimming around in Eyeglass Lake. But now we are actually able to explore the parts northeast of it. And we can actually check out the next dungeon. Even though autumn is going to be required in order to enter the dungeon eventually, we first need to puzzle around, of course. Since we are in a new area, we can of course find more than just the dungeon. There's also a cave that's going to be available to us, but that will only be available in summer. And therefore, allow me to first change the season into summer. And that way we're also going to be able to check out the soft soil spot. I was complaining that we're not getting enough of them. But I know there's one over here. In this ring of bushes. The middle area is going to be the spot we can actually dig up for a soft soil spot. Sometimes they make them a bit too obvious, right? But at least this is one. So, plant. And once again, fingers crossed. Even though we know better. The screen to the right over here is going to be the dungeon. Pretty obvious we need autumn in order to access it. There's going to be rock mushrooms over there. But that will be for in a minute. First we want to do something else, like I promised. In summer this area is going to be dried up, as you can clearly see. And therefore we are able to actually walk over the bottom of the lake yet again. Even this lake. And it turns out there's going to be a secret cave in here. Only accessible in summer. But sometimes I feel I don't have to state the obvious. What can we find in here? Tektites. Not too happy about those. Also applies to the keys and the zols. Staircase down. Another staircase down. Man. We're going down very deep in here. Hopefully... Ow! I wanted to say hopefully it's going to be worth it. Stupid arrows. A piece of heart. Yeah, I think you can consider calling this worth it. Even though it's not going to be giving us a heart container quite yet. But we do need to pick up all of them in the end. There's also still one growing in a tree. And that one we've also not been able to find quite yet. Let's move out of here yet again. Because now it is going to be dungeon time. Returning to the tree stump. Luckily it's summer, and therefore we only have to use the tree stump once. Only one fling with our Rod of Seasons is going to be enough. Boom. Oh, missed. Oops. My bad. Rod of Seasons. Once. And it is autumn. Going north, going east. And it's time to pick up some mushrooms. It is time to get started with the Unicorn's Cave. It's going to be another long one. One we're not going to be able to do in one episode, I'm pretty sure. Let's try to get as far in as we can. Welcome to level 5. Usually a place I easily get lost in, but luckily I've done my homework this time around. Something I don't do in every single game that I play for the Let's Plays, but for the Oracle games I definitely felt that was necessary. Doing a test run beforehand. So hopefully I've remembered where I need to go. First we're gonna go over here. Even further north. Meeting all of the enemies here. These guys also appear again. You can only hit them from the back, remember. We also got an awesome switch hook in Oracle of Ages to actually take their masks off. Something we don't have in this game, unfortunately. We might find something similar to it, but I think that's going to be a spoiler alert, so I think I'll shut up. And we're going to grab ourselves the first dungeon item. Need to be careful though, because as you can see, there's conveyor belts here. Just keep on pressing the opposite direction. And Link will start doing funny dances against the wall. More importantly, we're going to be able to actually stay on this platform. Yeah, reach the compass. And that already takes care of the first thing we needed to do. Let's see how this place actually somewhat looks. We're not able to see the full place, of course. Only one floor, but there are going to be plenty of chests lying around. One in a room we've already been to. That one is not accessible quite yet. Let's go see if we can make it accessible. Do your dance against the wall, Link. Always thought this looked very funny. But okay, in the end it is not important. If you go north over here, we will actually find a giant ball in the way. For some reason it has an N on it. Strange. We've already seen blocks with an S on it, and now we see a ball with an N on it. What are we going to receive in this dungeon? Let's take a swim and actually head to the room north of the entrance. As you can see, this is actually the entrance again. We're in the room north of it. And now we're gonna go east. Two minecarts. We are used to minecarts in this game by now. Also in Oracle of Ages, of course, but now we actually have two of them in the same room. We are going to be interested in collecting the key, but the one we actually see to the right over there, we're not able to reach from here, even though it looks like it. But we can actually take the right minecart and move it up 2 screens, and we will actually receive a different chest, which will also contain a small key. That other one we're going to be getting a bit later. Let's return and try to go east now. Also try to kill all of the keys in the meantime. Completely unnecessary, but oh, it is so fun. Here we have another one of those blocks that actually have an S on it. We've also seen one in the overworld and in Subrosia. Now that we're also meeting up with them here, it is definitely going to be related to the dungeon item we're going to receive. Why are the letters N and S displayed in all of these things? Can you think of something that actually makes use of the letters N and S? Split pathway over here. The lower pathway we're going to be taking later. First, over here. We need to go up the staircase and then make our way east. Mini Moldorm, get out of my way. In here. Clearly going to be something we can actually grab here. The towel in the middle is actually screaming for something to appear. And beating all of the enemies will make something appear. It is indeed going to be the dungeon map. We're still missing that. That way we're able to see this place somewhat looks like a unicorn. With a little bit of imagination you are definitely able to see a unicorn in this. We're pretty close to the boss actually. It's actually in the room northeast of us, but not accessible from here of course. It is still a long ways away. Don't think we are close to it quite yet. Even though on the map we may be. But the map is not always telling the truth. Now we actually reached the central part of the dungeon. And moving north. Going around the walkway. And jumping down here. The moment the coast is clear, of course. The moment you don't get killed by p-heads or tektites. use the key we just found. And moving on into the room of the dungeon item. The door will close. And the only way to open it is to actually have something on this pressure switch over here. This giant ball might actually be able to do it, but we're not going to be able to lift it. The dungeon item is going to be the solution to this puzzle. The magnetic gloves. Their magnetic might attracts and repels. Press the button to reverse polarity. The N and the S that we've been seeing through this game indeed are north and south. Not compass directions, but actually polarity. As you can see, we can use the gloves to actually attract and repel, depending on the polarity. If we actually have our polarity on S, we are able to attract objects that actually have an N on it. And that way we're able to attract this ball. It also works the other way around. If we actually stop using our gloves, the polarity will automatically shift to N, and then we are actually able to repel this ball. North repels north, of course. You should know how magnets work. First puzzle is easy, just use it in order to place this ball on the switch, so we can leave the room again. Now, let's go start looking for other places in the dungeon we're able to use this. We've seen plenty of opportunities after all. Back in this room, in the central part of the dungeon. Ow, stupid peahead, I want to kill you. Allow me. And back into the 2D section. This area has been cleaned out after all. Nothing to do anymore. Now, let's go take this pathway over here. The blocks we actually see over there, the moment we blow them up, we can actually use that as a shortcut back to the beginning of the dungeon. But that I actually plan on doing later. I've actually planned my route in a logical way, so... First we're going to return to the beginning of this 2D section. See this block over here? We're obviously not going to be able to attract it. This one's actually going to be anchored to the ground. But we can attract and repel ourselves. If we use the magnetic gloves on these blocks, we are able to attract ourselves to them. But the moment we use the same polarity, we are able to repel ourselves, even across pits. We will actually not fall if we just keep our button pressed. Awesome little mechanic in this game. And that way we can finally reach the key that we saw earlier. Through this minecart. Thank you. Another small key. Let's return. Hi Zol. Ow. There's no way for me to avoid that. Now, mini boss time. What do we have? A tiger with an orb on his tail. Oh, this guy's faster than I thought he would be. Pretty obvious what his weak point is going to be. We just need to get ourselves a chance to actually make use of that. Come on, don't hold your tail to the right. Also perhaps not a bad idea to actually equip your Rock's Feather on this guy. It's not always easy to avoid his attacks. Try to stay behind him, that we were able to get to his tail from any side. Boom. Still not there yet. Oh, now you're going to be spiralling around. Always easy to avoid. It's a very predictable pattern. And yeah, there we go. Double damage means earlier end to the fight. Easy mini-boss in concept, but difficult in practice because of him being so fast. Continuing in the dungeon. We actually need a key in order to open up a door over here, but also to open up a block over here. We're definitely still not done yet in this place. Before actually checking this place out, including the corridor to the right over here, let's return to that 2D section we actually skipped earlier. Now it's perfect time to actually go there. We have got the portal now, so we can easily get back here. We're also going to be double backing towards the entrance of the dungeon anyway. As you may remember, there was also a chest we skipped over there. It was across the pit we were not able to get, west of the dungeon entrance. And this route over here is an easy way to get back to the beginning of the dungeon, including the surrounding areas. When it comes to planning a route, it actually suits a bit better. And boom! Still need one more. Right, oh, be careful, this guy's going to shoot at me. jump on this platform. Oh. Yeah, that way get ourselves to the ladder. What do we need to do here? There's going to be an Armo statue on the other side of the room. We are not going to be able to access it. But we are going to be able to do a puzzle, you might say. It's pretty obvious there's also an Armo statue on our side of the room. And I think you can already guess how this is going to work. We can actually use our Armos to also move the other one. But it is not going to be easy. It is of course going to be mirrored. So we need to push this one down in order to push the other one up. And that way find a way to actually get it onto the switch. Like this. And then the door will open. Making sure we don't fall, of course. Get rid of all the enemies. Thank you. Was able to do it without falling. And look where we end up. The other side of this ball we were earlier at. Now we're actually able to move this ball around. Which is perfect, because I wanted to go back to this part of the dungeon anyway, like I said. It isn't for nothing that I said that planning my route this way was actually the better way. This way we can immediately go back the moment we are done here. Defeating all enemies. Mini Moldorm. Boom. Door unlocked. What do we have here? Armos to start moving around. Let's kill them. Nice. 4 chests actually appear. And just opening them is not going to be good enough. Because if we try to open this one on the bottom right, for instance, anti-fairies will spawn. This is another puzzle. And it works pretty simple actually. What we need to do is simply kill all of the Armos in the order we awaken them in. So, if you do the bottom right one first, kill that one first, and then the top right one, top left, and finally bottom left. And then remember also to open the chests in that order. And that way the first one is going to have 1 rupee, the second one 10 bombs, the third one 4 ember seeds, and only the final one is going to be worth your while. That is going to be the small key. And that takes care of this room. The owl statue in the previous room, that guy over there, that's going to be able to tell you the puzzle works like this, in case you are wondering. You don't have to guess it works like this. The game will actually give you a hint about it. Next up we want to go south over here. But first we want to grab the chest in this room, of course. Would be a waste to actually skip that. Recovery heart. But I'm also not going to skip. The chest will contain 100 rupees. Now going back down. Luckily now we can actually use the shortcut. Get away from me. Back in this room. We did actually pass this chest the moment we entered the dungeon. And believe me, now that we have the magnetic gloves, we are able to actually get it. The game is nice enough to actually give us a tile, so we know where we need to stand. And that way we're going to be able to attract ourselves to the other side of the room. And get the final chest in this area. Thank you. But there's still one more key we need to pick up. That is going to be in that final room we actually skipped. The 2 minecarts. So far we've only gone on the right one, but now we can also do the left one. At least doing the minecart we were already able to do, but now we're also able to solve the puzzle in the room it's actually going to bring us to. That is why we did not step on this earlier. This thing. First let's get rid of the enemies, otherwise we're going to get annoying. Thank you. Also able to use the magnetic gloves for that. But for this thing we also need to use it. Attract ourselves to the spinning thing over here. And then time it correctly to also repel yourself from it. Need to wait until this enemy goes out of the way. Otherwise that will happen. Let's try this again. The guy definitely loves running around there. But I was still able to do it. There we go. Shoo! And give me that small key. Now we've got 3 keys. All of the keys in this place. Now, time to check out the final route. This time we want to head north on this left card. Of course, this is also going to bring us to a section where we need to use the magnetic gloves. Otherwise we would have done this sooner. Move around here. And actually access the next puzzle. This one's also not going to be too difficult. Push this block and it will actually make a ball appear. And that ball we can actually push onto this pressure switch over here. Very simple. But that is going to be for later on. Now we're going to be returning towards the room north of the mini-boss room. Where we actually found the block and the locked door. Leading towards both the boss key and the boss room. But we first needed to push the block over here. Otherwise the ball is not going to be there. The moment we actually pass there ourselves. And that way we are going to be ready to finish the dungeon next time. And this has been going smoothly. Perfect. Thank you all for watching, and next time it is time to start looking for the boss key and the boss and finish the unicorn's cave. Perfect place to stop. Right at the portal of the mini boss room. Treecks out. See you folks in the next episode.